This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. The third day of the inquest into a 16-year-old First Nation girl's death heard from the police officer who fired the fatal gunshots. Aisha Hudson died in 2020 after a liquor store robbery led to a police chase. CBC's Rosanna Hempel has the details.
The courtroom was packed today as the police officer who fired the fatal shot spoke at the inquest into Aisha Hudson's death. Nearly all the seats were taken with supporters from both sides. Constable Kyle Pradnuk says that day in April 2020, he and his partner began driving toward the Sage Creek area of Winnipeg after hearing about a liquor store robbery in the neighborhood. The pair had set up a tire deflation device at Fermor Avenue and Lejamodier Boulevard. By the time, a high-speed police chase after a stolen Jeep driven by Hudson ended near the intersection. Wearing glasses and a suit on the stand, Pradnuk described how after the vehicle lost control and struck a truck, he approached the driver's side of the Jeep with his handgun ready, identifying himself as police and yelling commands for the driver to stop. Pradnuk testified he fired the first shot at her after he believed the Jeep would run over his partner. "I took an action to stop the actions of Ms. Hudson. I was reacting to the threat that I was perceiving," Pradnuk said. He says he didn't know if the bullet hit her, but that she was looking at him through the broken driver's side window. He testified he fired the second shot after the Jeep lurched forward moments later. "That forward motion caused me to believe that the vehicle was in gear, that grievous bodily harm could result in Constable Drager being struck by the vehicle," Pradnuk told the court. The inquest is looking into whether systemic racism played a role in Hudson's death and whether the use of force was appropriate. Pradnuk testified that the description of the suspects as Indigenous youth did not factor into how he approached the Jeep. He also says if Air One, the police helicopter, had been available to follow it, the day may have ended differently. The inquest is expected to hear from other police officers in the case and teens who were in the vehicle. The inquest continues on Thursday. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Students at a K-8 school in the Transcona area of Winnipeg had an unexpected day off. Police say just after 8:30 this morning, officers responded to a threat call from Bernie Wolf School on Bernie Drive. The River East Transcona School Division says it relocated students to a safe area, notified parents to pick up their kids, and canceled classes. Investigators say no physical threats have been found and there's no risk to public safety, but their work is ongoing. A seniors advocate says the case of a 68-year-old woman's death at St. Boniface Hospital should be investigated as ageism. The family of Judy Burns believes her symptoms were dismissed by healthcare staff at the hospital because of her age. The head of a national seniors advocacy organization says doctors should have taken her change in condition seriously.
Frailty isn't age. Frailty is your healthcare condition. If she was walking normally before and is now shuffling, that's not due to age. That's due to some type of health condition. If her cognitive challenges are brand new and she never had them before, again, that change is different.
The province is still determining whether Judy Burns' death meets the criteria for a critical incident. If it does, it would be the second critical incident death in recent weeks involving a patient at St. Boniface Hospital. Some people from Pimicikamak Cree Nation have been able to go home, but thousands are still waiting for their turn. A power outage in late December caused pipes to freeze, leading to significant damage to homes and buildings. It's unknown how long the evacuation will last, and one organization is gathering donations to help the people who have been displaced. CBC's Mike Arsenault has that story.
It's been a long month for Lori Osborne and her family. She's from Pimicikamak Cree Nation and has been living in a hotel by the airport for the past month. In early January, she got a notice on her door saying she had to leave.
So we were just scattering around, packing up our stuff, and then we just flew to Winnipeg.
In late December, a snapped power line caused an outage in the First Nation. Power was restored by January 2nd, but frozen pipes and flooding left the homes unsafe, and the community was evacuated. With repairs underway, some people have been able to return home, but Osborne isn't one of them.
I really want to go home. It sucks being in a hotel, especially for my kids. I have a 1-year-old, and it's hard to keep her entertained in a tiny room.
Chief David Monias says about 400 of the roughly 4,000 evacuees have gone back home, but there's a lot of repair work that still needs to be done.
The flooring, the walls also, they're trying to get the walls fixed, get the plumbing up and running, and some electrical issues. They're still trying to get those things sorted out, make sure that, we don't have any fires later on.
Very good shape, yeah.
While evacuees wait to go home, Gani Ganichik is collecting donations so their stay can be a little more comfortable. Executive Director Jackie Anderson says donations have tapered off since January, but the need is still there.
Pajamas, slippers for the kids, and like I said, board games, craft supplies for the activity rooms, but also so that they might be able to take it up to their room and have something to play with.
Anderson says they host evacuee elders twice a week. They offer activities and cook them more traditional foods. Back at the hotel, Osborne is keeping herself occupied until the evacuation order is lifted.
Coloring, listening to music, just staying in a room, doing the same old thing until we get to go home.
As the repairs continue, Chief Monias wants to see the main transition line rerouted so it's easier to access in an emergency. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
They're the first ones to respond when the unthinkable happens, but when they need help, it can be difficult to get. Now, a Brandon-based peer support group for first responders is expanding into northern Manitoba. It's aiming to close critical mental health gaps for emergency workers facing trauma and who are far away from specialized services. Chelsea Kemp has more.
A Brandon police officer uses her decade-long experience on the job to counsel others when the work gets tough. Amanda Griffith-Conway co-founded Project Resilience 911 6 years ago. It connects first responders with peers who understand how to deal with the trauma they experience on calls.
Because we know the trauma is happening and it's not going anywhere, so we need to have the response piece and the preventative piece to it.
Project Resilience is now expanding into the north. The PA Fire Chief, Byron Shangra, says there's not a lot of mental health support in rural communities. That makes peer support a critical part of their toolkit.
There's that trust factor that, hey, this guy's done this, he knows what's going on, he knows what I'm going through. So for everyone up here, I think that's a big help.
Former Carberry Deputy Fire Chief Grady Stevenson connected with Project Resilience after a 2023 bus crash that killed 17 people. He introduced Shangra to the team.
I went through some struggles there and wanting to be one of the success stories and encouraging people to do the things that they need to do.
These conversations validate experiences and reduce isolation when someone is experiencing intense trauma. Griffith-Conway says it's an approach she hopes to replicate across northern Manitoba.
They have all the tools they need to provide crisis response, also maybe have some ability to provide some education from a northern experience and bring their experiences to that, to the tables up north.
For now, the focus is recruiting for the new northern team. Griffith-Conway says they're looking for people willing to learn, talk, and listen about trauma on the job. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
Work has started again to clean up the site of the former Manwin Hotel in the 600 block of Main Street. The building was destroyed by fire on January 14th. The city stopped work on the cleanup because of concerns about dangerous construction materials like asbestos. A city spokesperson says all necessary approvals and permits were obtained and work can now go ahead. It's expected the majority of the work will be completed in the next week. A warm-up in southern Manitoba. Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now. Hi, Colette.
Thanks, Marjorie. Yeah, some of that milder air to the west of us trying to make its way eastward. All right, we're not talking about our temperatures going into the mid-teens like they're seeing in Alberta, but getting that to spread across, not just into western Manitoba, but trying to get it a little further east. So as those southerly winds have been kicking in around 3 o'clock or so, getting a little bit stronger, that's going to help push our temperature up so that we will actually get above the freezing mark by the time we get into tomorrow, even if there's a little dusting, some flurries or light snow with the passing of the warm front. So -3 overnight tonight, the winds eventually turning westerly. And then how about 0? Yes, freezing in the morning. That's actually a positive thing. And then on the positive side of things in the afternoon with a high of 2 degrees. Late day, we get into a chance of flurries as the system is coming through. I'm going to give you more details on how that's going to play out coming up.
Thanks, Colette. Orchestral music meets pro wrestling at the Winnipeg Centennial Concert Hall. We will explain after the break. Stay with us.
This is Manitoba. And this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Manitoba, streaming now.
Manitobans could soon be permitted to hunt tundra swans and mourning doves. The federal government is considering a hunt for the birds in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. The proposed amendments to Canadian migratory bird regulations are made every 2 years. If passed, the tundra swan hunting season could begin in Manitoba as early as 2028. But there are some concerns that trumpeter swans, which are a sensitive species, could be accidentally hunted because they look very similar to tundra swans. This Winnipeg wildlife biologist doesn't share the same concerns.
Experience in jurisdictions which have tundra swan seasons is that the incidental take of trumpeter swans has been extremely low. So if we use a similar level of incidental take as what some states in the Central Flyway have, we'd be looking at the potential harvest of just, a handful of trumpeter swans.
Frank Baldwin says the U.S. collaborates with Canada to manage the tundra swan population because the birds cross their shared border. The trumpeter swan is a protected species in the United States. The Winnipeg Centennial Concert Hall is becoming a battleground. Tonight, the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra is teaming up with Winnipeg Professional Wrestling for Brawl at the Hall. It's where flying elbows meet live violins. Organizers say this event is the first of its kind anywhere in the world. CBC's Jim Agapito met with organizers to find out what it takes for a collaboration like this to happen.
I'm Devin Bray, the co-owner of Winnipeg Professional Wrestling.
I'm Daniel Bartholomew Poyser. I'm the guest conductor for the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra.
It was the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's idea to do Brawl at the Hall. I would have never conceived of this idea in a million years. This is a year in the making, and Daniel came to some of our shows in the summer and the fall to get an idea of how the wrestling world works and meet some of the competitors. I think Daniel, being a wrestling fan, has really been helpful because he came in with his knowledge already and some reverence and respect for the sport, and just to take it really seriously on both sides, the music and the wrestling, and I think it's been a really nice marriage.
I kind of freaked out because I grew up watching professional wrestling. So I immediately started talking about all the theme songs and the music and the entrance music. And like talking about my favorite wrestlers. I was surprised how amped up I was, but I was extremely, extremely excited. And I said, the moment I said, if there's anything I can do to help with this, I definitely want to come out and watch this and see it. And I ended up being able to conduct it.
How do you translate something as physical and explosive into, as wrestling into music?
Well, there's a lot of orchestral music that is very violent and very rough and very, very energetic. So it actually goes really well with wrestling.
What's that collaboration going to be like? What are we going to expect?
It's wild. It's like literally like opera and ballet together. The memorization, the athleticism, the timing, the thinking, the acting. It's really a whole package, and the real risk. It's like the wrestlers are athletes of the large muscle groups, and the musicians are athletes of the small muscle groups, right? We're bringing that all together today. It's going to be pretty. I actually don't know what's going to be, what's going to happen.
It's going to be wild.
Because this is the first time, as far as I know, it's happening in the world, on the planet, on planet Earth. In Winnipeg, it's happening here. We have an idea, and looking at the structure of wrestling and what happens there, and the structure of orchestral music and the pieces and the personalities of the different wrestlers, finding ways to make those gel, we're going to see.
My name is Dylan Belmore, but for those in the local wrestling community, they would know me better as the real deal James Roth. Being able to walk into the WSO here with a full orchestra playing me out and playing during the match, so it's certainly going to be different. I'm just going to have to feel it once we're out there. I don't think there's any way to prepare for this type of thing. No one has done this before in the world. So again, for me, it's once I get in there, once the bell rings, and once the music starts, I kind of think all bets are off, and it's just see what happens. Unfortunately, wrestling is almost kind of treated as like the an outcast. You're not quite a sport, so we can't treat you like one. You're entertainment, but you're a lower form of entertainment, and I think that's pretty unfair. Hopefully, by bringing wrestling and classical music together, these two worlds are going to mesh together in a wonderful way that people on the music side of things can gain some appreciation for wrestling, and for those of us on the wrestling side will gain more appreciation for the music.
There are going to be people who come tonight that don't realize that, wow, I really love orchestral music. And they're going to be orchestral music fans who are like, you know, I really enjoyed that wrestling. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the orchestra when they see these like behemoth human beings like walking around them. It's not usual in the orchestra to have, you know, shirtless athletes. So that's going to be very funny.
CBC meteorologist Colette Kennedy is here once again. Colette, it was a mixed bag of temperatures today here in Manitoba.
Thanks, Marjorie. You know, such a different kind of temperature story within the province. That contrast between the milder air that's to the west, including temperatures that are up to freezing, Dauphin Swan River as well, and the readings trying to come up now, especially as we've had the southerly winds kicking in, and that will continue. But along that warm front, also that little burst of a little bit of light snow and flurry activity that is going through as well. So that's the passing of the warm front. We get into the warmer sector, so tomorrow those temperatures coming up above freezing for central or at least southern parts of the province. We'll be getting into that. You'll at least be getting milder elsewhere. But once the cold front comes, that's going to be a whole nother story. So let's just rotate this forward and you can see what happens through the day. And this is late day where I'm saying we're going to have the clouds moving in, but where I think we could get into a few flurries or with that temperature just above freezing, maybe they're very wet flurries or mixing with a rain shower in there. And that's into the evening hours. Then the cold front will go through. Our temperatures will change direction, and that's going into Friday, where this much colder air, I know we've been there before a lot this season, is going to be pushing right back in again. So in terms of the snowfall amount, some of this heavier stuff is really around Gillam or Split Lake, kind of pushing over towards Sioux Lookout or Armstrong in northwestern Ontario there. So otherwise, it's just kind of a dusting to maybe a centimeter that we're experiencing. I want you to watch the arrows here in terms of the wind direction. We go from the southerly to the westerly. That helps us out with the temperatures tomorrow, but then the door shuts behind the cold front and look at all this northerly flow and some of those gusts up over 40 towards 50 kilometers an hour as well. So that's going to give us some cold wind chills. We're not there though tomorrow. Let's enjoy when it is milder. So 2 degrees by noon, and we'll hold that too, and getting into that chance of flurries though as we get towards those late afternoon or into those early evening hours. There it is, though, behind the cold front, minus 13 the high on Friday, and Friday night minus 17. So Saturday is definitely going to be a chilly start because the wind chills might likely make it feel more like minus 30, and we get into another chance of snow as we go into Monday.
Thanks, Colette. We have more coming up ahead here on the show. Stay with us. CBC News has learned the federal government is expected to announce its new national automotive strategy on Thursday, and it includes a plan to scrap Canada's current electric vehicle production mandate and bring back incentives to buy EVs. Ashley Burke has more of the exclusive details and what that means for consumers.
Sources tell CBC News the government is expected to announce that it's bringing back incentives for consumers buying electric vehicles. There was a rebate in the past of up to $5,000 towards an EV purchase, but more than a year ago, the program ran out of money because there was so much demand. Now we're told that incentives are expected to be revived. Sources also say there will be money announced to build more charging stations across Canada, and Ottawa is expected to scrap its current electric vehicle mandate. Now, it required a growing number of new vehicles made in Canada to be EVs and set a target that all new cars would be electric in a decade. The Prime Minister already paused this year's target and put the mandate under review, but he's been under pressure from leaders in the auto sector, Ontario's Premier, and Conservatives to drop the mandate altogether.
Well, people in the sector are going to be happy because those targets in the EV mandates were unachievable.
Sources say the government is expected to replace the EV mandate with a new system that's based on fuel efficiency standards and credits. It will allow auto manufacturers to earn credits by producing electric vehicles, and there would be a way to carry over credits under the past system, sources say. Before we broke this news, Canada's former Environment Minister said that he was open to changes to the EV mandate, but not scrapping it entirely.
That mandate, it is essential. I mean, it's not just for climate change, but in terms of air pollution, the impacts, the health benefit of doing this are very important.
It's unclear if this new system will achieve the same emissions reductions as the EV mandate. Sources say the details are expected to be announced tomorrow when Ottawa releases its new national automotive strategy. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
In the U.S., President Trump's border czar says about 700 immigration enforcement officers are being pulled out of Minnesota immediately. That's about a quarter of all federal agents currently in the state, where there have been weeks of protests over their tactics and the deaths of 2 people. But tensions surrounding ICE are far from over and are now reaching all the way to Europe at the Winter Olympic Games. Briar Stewart has details on that from Italy.
On the wintry streets of Cortina, a visible increase in police. As Olympic organizers ramp up security, Italy's government is still trying to ease public concern over the presence of U.S. ICE agents. We will not see anything on national territory that resembles what has been seen in the media in the United States, said Italy's Interior Minister. Protesters have taken to the streets after Italian media revealed that personnel with the U.S. Immigration and Enforcement Agency are being deployed to the country. U.S. officials say they will be helping with diplomatic security and not out on the street as they have been in Minnesota. But that hasn't quelled the backlash.
I don't want ICE, no.
Even just the word ICE has the potential to be contentious at the Winter Games. U.S. Olympic officials are turning this hotel into a hospitality space for athletes and their families. It was supposed to be called the Ice House. It's now been rebranded the Winter House. U.S. figure skating champion Amber Glenn said it was a wise move.
A lot of people say you're just an athlete, like stick to your job, shut up about politics, but politics affect us all.
Alyssa Liu feels a personal connection to what's happening in Minnesota.
I am the proud daughter of 2 immigrants. So of course, I'm going to speak up for something that I'm very close to.
There are more protests planned for here in Milan. But when we asked the head of the International Olympic Committee about the protests, Kirsty Coventry steered clear of any politics.
The Games are a place where people can be reminded of the best of humanity.
But more protests are planned, including 2 for Friday, just as the opening ceremony gets underway. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Milan.
There are always fewer participants at the Winter Olympics versus the summer, so the athletes' village is always smaller too. But at this year's Games, events are spread out across northern Italy, so athlete residences are as well. As CBC's chief correspondent Adrian Arsenault found out, the main athletes' village in Milan is more like a small neighborhood.
A very first look at the athletes' village in Milan. It is as you would hope it to be, a place where traditions live.
So thank you for bringing the moose.
Perennial village favorite, Canada's moose, modular and not yet named.
In Paris, it was very democratic and we had a vote.
That is 2016 gold medalist Erica Wiebe, wrestler turned athlete ambassador, if you will.
Everyone just shows up and is so excited to be here.
She knows the rules and the fun, including guessing the sport by looking at the athlete.
What do you figure?
Women's hockey.
Okay. That's the Italian women's hockey
Yeah,
team?
because they're all short, they're all always moving in a pack.
Canada's accommodations are shared with countries like South Korea and the Netherlands. All these new buildings holding some 1,500 athletes and support staff. The whole complex will eventually be turned into much-needed university residences.
This is the Team Canada building.
Already, it feels like a dorm.
Okay, we're all going in. How long before you guys trade jackets?
I would be very surprised if they traded us.
Oh!
Milan's village is one of 6 athlete accommodations in Italy, so it's small, but that makes this an opportunity to get to know the neighbors.
Okay, we found Brad Marchand's room.
NHLers will stay right next to everyone else. For Olympic vet and gold medalist Isabel Wiedemann, that makes this a good chance for the speed skater to connect.
I don't know those athletes at all. We don't train alongside them. I know the women's hockey team quite well because we share a venue in Calgary, but yeah, people from different sports that I've never met. So I'm excited.
Welcome.
Okay, this is not bad.
To an athlete room in the Olympic Village.
Nothing fancy at first glance. But leave it to the likes of Sarah Nurse and her hockey teammates to make the space their own. Imagine seeing this whole village, the flags, the camaraderie of it all through fresh eyes, like those of first-time Olympian speed skater William Dangenou.
I was talking to my teammates, it almost feels like a utopia here, you know, like a village where everyone is, you know, healthy, wants to improve themselves, and they're here for a purpose also, which is great.
Togetherness matters in this era, as do sparks of whimsy. A little encouragement here to pick a plant, name it, care for it, ease some Olympic-sized stress. Figure skater Madeline Skeesis getting in on this.
Listen, this is a very important plant you've got. You cannot kill a plant that's called Ilya Rozanov.
Yeah, I saw someone got Shane Hollander,
Okay.
but maybe one of my roommates will, and then they can be together.
Aww.
In competition, they work. In the village, they play. In Milan, this is home.
That report from CBC chief correspondent Adrian Arsenault. Now, CBC is your host broadcaster for Milano Cortina 2026. Join Adrian live for the opening ceremony on Friday. Special coverage starts at 12:30 p.m. here, wherever you get CBC. And also starting on Friday, just a reminder, CBC Winnipeg News will move to 5 o'clock for a half-hour cast for the duration of the games. Now, a number of Canadian athletes competing in the upcoming Olympics are older than you might expect. But as Sarah Lovett explains, they're still gunning for gold.
This isn't Mark McMorris's first rodeo. It's the 4th Olympics for the Canadian snowboarder, with 3 bronze medals already to his name. At 32, McMorris is considered old for the big air and slopestyle events.
Still be like competitive and pushing with the young guns is really amazing.
Still, some things have changed since he was 20.
The amount of work I need to put in is much greater than it was in 2014.
Milano Cortina will see an array of older athletes. There's a 52-year-old snowboarder, a 46-year-old downhill skier, and Canadian curler Mark Kennedy is 44.
As the body ages, it takes longer time for recovery, so that injuries become more important. And once you have an injury, a second injury on top of it, it's a real challenge for athletes as they age.
Here's Lindsey Vonn.
Storied alpine skier Lindsey Vonn knows all about that. She hoped to make the ultimate comeback at 41 after retiring for nearly 6 years.
Where is Vonn? Oh, Vonn is in the netting!
Then a crash last week resulted in a torn ACL. Still, she says she'll compete.
I'm still here. I think I'm still able to fight. I think I'm still able to try, and I will try as long as I have the ability to.
Canadian figure skating pair Diana Stellato-Dudac and Maxime Deschamps have also been dealt a blow. They've pulled out of one event after 42-year-old Stellato-Dudac injured herself during training. She said this last year.
And I have always wanted to make history and be the oldest figure skater ever to win an Olympic gold medal, and so that is my goal.
Stellato-Dudac is waiting on a doctor's decision to see if the duo can compete at the individual pairs event. Back in Livigno, McMorris has no idea if this will be his last Olympics, but the goal remains the same.
Keeping my eyes on the prize.
Going for gold.
Always.
Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Livigno, Italy.
And as you saw there in Sarah's report, she spoke with Canadian snowboarding champion Mark McMorris. Well, McMorris crashed Wednesday night during a training run for the Milan Cortina Games. The three-time Olympic bronze medalist had to be taken off the course by stretcher. It happened during a big air training run where riders do 4, 5, or more spins after taking off from a ramp. The 32-year-old was preparing for Thursday night's qualifying event set to take place the day before the opening ceremony. It's not clear if he will be able to participate. Coming up, a once popular toy store has filed for creditor protection. What it means for the company's future and for customers after the break. Stay with us. It was once the giant of retail stores for children, a place that parents with youngsters couldn't avoid around birthdays or holidays. But attempts to save the remaining Toys R Us stores in Canada have failed, and the company is asking an Ontario court for a reprieve so it can try to restructure again. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson reports.
I don't want to grow up fun. Toys R Us.
Their big box stores once shaped children's dreams with their wall-to-wall assortment of toys. Now Toys R Us Canada is fighting for its life. The company filed for creditor protection, saying it owes $120 million to vendors and a substantial amount to landlords.
There's been rumors for quite a while about missing rent payments and missing payments to suppliers. And I think a lot of people in the industry realize that, you know, the Toys R Us business model, at least appearing from the outside, doesn't seem to be resonating with Canadians.
Toys R Us Canada, bought by Doug Putman, owner of Sunrise Records back in 2021, has been shrinking for years, shuttering stores and trying to stay afloat. After closing 53 stores in the past 2 years, the chain currently operates only 22 stores in Canada. Its diminishing profile, a sign of the times.
All bricks and mortar stores face this challenge of getting consumers excited about leaving the comfort of their home and not shopping online to buy something in person. But it's especially accentuated when it comes to children. And these stores lack that instant hit of dopamine that kids get when they play games and videos and so forth on their iPads and on their smartphones.
At one of the few remaining stores, customers have mixed feelings.
Does anyone really shop in person for toys anymore?
I've grown up with Toys R Us, always being in the picture of my own kids. That's where I used to go buy their Christmas presents. So it's a little bit sad.
That sentimental link may hold some promise. The company could find a buyer for its intellectual property who could restructure the business, make it leaner and more modern. But experts say a more likely option is to close off all the remaining stores and liquidate merchandise. Also at stake, jobs of about 600 employees. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
And a final note for consumers, Toys R Us has now paused its e-commerce business and will only accept gift cards at its remaining open stores for the next 14 days. Canadians planning a winter escape to Cuba should be prepared for disruptions. The federal government upgraded its travel advisory on Tuesday, warning Canadians that worsening shortages of everything from fuel to food could affect resorts. The travel warning explains power outages on the island can last more than 24 hours. Most large resorts and hotels use generators, but fuel shortages could impact their use. The federal government says the situation is unpredictable and could deteriorate, disrupting flight availability on short notice. South of the border, the Washington Post is laying off 1/3 of the staff in its newsroom and shutting down other departments. The move is considered by many to be a brutal blow to a legendary brand in U.S. journalism. The Post is owned by Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. The layoffs will mean the closure of the newspaper's books and sports departments, and its local Washington area news department will be restructured. The newspaper has been steadily losing subscribers. In part, staffers blame editorial decisions made by Bezos. Colette Kennedy joins us once again. Hi, Colette.
Thanks, Marjorie. Yeah, they've been basking in the milder temperatures in BC and Alberta for several days now. And if anything, it's actually just getting warmer in Alberta. But some of that milder air is continuing to graduate eastward. And I know, -7, but our temperature continuing to come up as we go into the evening hours. It's not bad overnight. And by tomorrow, we're on the plus side of things, above freezing. So it's kind of a one-day only event where the temperatures are milder. There's that burst of some of that light snow and flurry activity that's been pushing through along that warm front, and the wind's a little bit stronger and gustier out of the south. That carries on eastward, and then behind it, we are going to have the cold front that has to come through, and that is going to be that leading edge of this next air mass, which will be much chillier. So that's why, yes, let's enjoy Thursday, because Friday Friday, the colder air sinks in, and then we have a very cold start as we move into Saturday morning as well. There will be some clearing, however, that happens behind that front as that Arctic air pushes down, and so at least we'll get some sunshine coming back in before the next round is on our doorstep. So some of those heavier amounts I was mentioning earlier, not so much as this has kind of shifted a little further east and a little further south, not as much for Thompson, but Island Lake and around Gillam and stretching off into northwestern Ontario, just a trace at the most, maybe a centimeter into Winnipeg. And you know, that's kind of the same thing late in the day tomorrow, getting a little bit of wet flurry activity or even mixing with some rain showers because of those milder temperatures. The wind's doing their thing, and that's why you can kind of follow the direction and know where our temperatures are going. So still into Thursday, mild with a westerly flow, but it will have turned northerly into northern parts of the province, and then that sinks with that cold front further south and starts to drop those temperatures off. But even looking northward, there's a lot of milder temperatures, at least around Flin Flon, the Pas, not so much Lynn Lake, but doesn't quite stretch that far to you. And then look at these readings. Haven't seen something like this in a while where we get these numbers, so many of them above the freezing mark. And how about Brandon up to 3 degrees? Not looking too bad there. Also not looking too bad, Lucy in her boots. Now Nancy says she's can be a little difficult to get into them, but once she does okay. We can tell. She looks adorable. Hey, Lucy. And just looking at your dog walking forecast there, late in the day is when we could get into that chance of flurries, but with that temperature, that's why I say they'd be on the wet side, I think.
Thanks, Colette. A heavy metal guitarist who stopped playing music after the death of a bandmate found a new musical home with a local Filipino group, despite the fact he doesn't speak, let alone sing, in Tagalog. His story is the latest to be told by filmmaking students in the CREATE program at Sisler High School, showing music is a universal language.
So the Tagalog songs that we play, I don't know any of the lyrics. I've tried learning some of them to see what they mean and all that, but the guys in the band, they help me out. They let me know what the song is about.
We are just waiting for our last band to be ready.
The first band I played in was a heavy metal band called Lunacy. I was 23. I played guitar in it, released a demo CD in 2000, played some clubs around Winnipeg. And then things ended up falling apart, and lead singer and main guitar player, I passed away in 2012. That kind of made me stop playing for a while. Then I started playing again probably 2017, and that's when I first met Kent, actually, when he started working the same business I was at, and then he came over to my place and we started jamming. Then Kent asked me to join Pap and gave it a shot.
Alapahap, it means like heaven, you know. Sometimes when you're playing, you feel like heaven.
Nice playing something different than the guitar, and so I played the bass and different style of music as well too, so that kind of helped me get back into playing again.
Inikwento ko muna sa kanya yung istorya ng Tagalog music so that he have an idea what the story is.
I was actually quite surprised how much stamina there is to play on some of these songs. I thought it would be a little easier because I was used to playing at faster speed, and it really opened my eyes up to it doesn't have to be heavy metal to be playing something fast. I don't feel any different. Music is something that everybody knows, and doesn't matter what language you speak, you all get it by the beat of the music, and it just clicks. Like,
everybody's happy that there's a white guy playing in a band, because in music, actually, we are all the same. As long as you know how to play, you're all welcome.
I'm happy playing in Alapapa. I could see us playing more shows and more. It's a good time.
Still ahead, how a drone helped find a missing horse. Plus, Colette Kennedy is back with a last look at our forecast. You're watching CBC Winnipeg News. A missing horse that spent days out in the Manitoba cold has returned home. 3 untamed horses broke out of their corral near Lebo in late January. The owner wrangled 2 that didn't stray far from the property, but a brown and white mare had wandered off. A Winnipeg company offered its thermal drone to help in the search. They found the horse among some trees and dropped the drone lower to coax her out.
And then when we saw her come across the field, I'm like, this isn't true. Like, this kind of feels like a dream. Like, this is something you see in movies. Like, how is she coming right now? And she's just running. She's booking it towards us.
York says she's now training the untamed horse. Her new name, Tulsa Queen.
Hey, welcome back, folks. We got a lot to talk about because we're doing the little up and down that we often do when it comes to the weather. Up tomorrow with that temperature to 2 degrees. Late day, getting into the chance of some wet flurries or even mixing with some showers with that temperature until it begins to fall behind the cold front. And that's where we go to -14 with wind chills feeling -20 or colder into Friday morning. And look at Friday's daytime high, such a contrast from Thursday, but at least there'll be some sun in our skies as we'll get into that clearing. Then we get some clouds coming back into Saturday, a little milder Sunday, and for the beginning of the week, but also the beginning of the week, we have another system coming through. Most likely, I mean, the timing is still several days off, but kind of Monday late day or overnight and falling into Tuesday morning there.
Thanks, Colette. Well, in the world of dog competitions, it's a prize you couldn't put a price on until now, and it's a penny. Here's today's Daily Lift.
For Best in Show at the 150th Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show is the Doberman Pinscher.
Yes, that's Penny, a 4-year-old Doberman Pinscher with a Canadian pedigree. She won top honors Monday night at what's considered the most prestigious dog show in the world. More than 2,500 dogs and 200 breeds vied for the top prize, and the competition was fierce and fuzzy. Finalists included an Old English sheepdog, an Afghan, a Maltese, and the runner-up, a Chesapeake Bay Retriever named Coda. Penny is only the 5th Doberman to win Best in Show in Westminster's century-and-a-half history. Her breeders are in Newtonville, Ontario, and her co-owners are from Toronto. Good-looking dog. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow.